Hello, my name's Dorothy and Simister and welcome to my studio. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour of what my paintings and work's about. My work is split up into three different sections, and this is one of the aspects of it, which are reflections in shop windows. This particular one is from a shop window, a butcher's in Hebden Bridge, and all my shop window pictures are from the outside looking in, not the inside looking out. The outside areas are the reflections in the window of the houses, shops and people that are passing by, which get intermingled with the things in the shops. This is another Hebden Bridge shop window, and this one interested me because of the contrast of the objects in the shop window and the people passing by. It was very summery and spring-like, and then there was a figure which is almost like an angel from a cemetery, and it was a bit like life and death and people passing through, which is what happens all the time. This is a shop window reflection in Tuscany in Italy, in a town called Pisano, and what I particularly liked about it was the fact that in the shop window was a picture of a wedding, which almost looked like it was on the outside, with all the reflections of the warm coloured buildings contrasting with the reds and the blues of the photograph, and the reds in the objects in the window. Another aspect of my work is landscapes, which I draw a lot in sketchbooks as I'm walking in the mountains. This one is of the Stubai Alps in Austria, which was a trip I did in summer for 2 weeks, walking about. And this was a glacier that was coming down this huge rock face, and it contrasting with the brilliant blue of the lakes, the glacier lakes below. Other work that I've got, this one, it's a landscape but it's also a reflection. This is oil pastels on paper, but I've also used other media as and when I liked. Haven't quite finished it, but hopefully will do soon. Another picture, landscape, again not finished. This time this is about walking in Scotland, which I do quite a lot of, and I'm trying to capture the mood and the weather on top of the mountains as we're walking. The third aspect of my work is about seed heads, which I've collected an enormous amount of. This particular picture is showing 9 of different seed heads, and you can see how varied and beautiful the shapes and the colours are, which is what attracts me to them, that there could be so many different types. It's a bit like people, they're all individual and different and interesting in their own way. I've also been doing some lino cutting. This is a lino print of a hollyhock seed pod, and as you can see, all the different little seeds that are around it are quite remarkable in their difference and patterns that are on them. This is a Figalis pod, which I just love the shape of it, almost like a teardrop, and the beautiful colours that you get. Other work that I'm doing at the moment is again a landscape in Hebden Bridge. This was when the cold weather came about and there was ice on the canal, and I just love the dynamics of the shape and the pattern. I'm trying to work it out, but I'm not too sure about that one. This is another shop window painting, which I'm trying to be a lot freer in using the paint and putting it on the paper, which I do find really difficult, but I'm just trying to capture the shapes and play with the paint, so it's a little bit of an experiment. These are both oil on paper canvas. This is another drawing this time of a seed pod, which I've nearly finished. I'm going to put a mount around it to see what it looks like. Maybe there'll be a little bit more work on the actual seed pod itself. Again, this was a really unusual, huge seed pod that was brought to me by someone. And finally, the piece of work that I'm working on at the moment, trying to get finished, is this picture of on a glacier, again in the Stubai Alps. And I'm just trying to capture the view from the glacier down into the valley, and how the mountains come down and the colours of them, and the coldness of the glacier. So that gives you an idea of some of the things that I've been working on.